the most important podcast on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, Denovo Realty Radio.
Okay.
Whatever. All right. Today, in our most prepared episode of all time, we're giving tips to new agents.
New agents.
You're
not prepared, or we're not prepared.
So, yes, that's part of the theme today.
Yay.
What are we drinking?
Today we're drinking Bat Squatch.
Oh, this is going to be a good one.
It is.
This is our first beer, by the way.
This is Bat Squatch from Rogue, which is a great brewery. I have no idea where they are. Oregon. And it's delicious so far. It's
a very attractive
orangey
can, too, by the way.
Get a close up.
Yeah, get a close up to that. Dedicated.
Get real tight in there, yeah.
Dedicated to the legend, the Bat Squatch.
The Bat Squatch. We're not going to read the description. You can Google it.
All right. So, tips for new agents.
Phone on the table.
What?
Phone on the table.
Phone on the table. Rules.
Ring her on.
One bite. Don't forget the rules.
Yeah.
All right.
One
anyways.
rule.
Ian, what's your first tip for a newly licensed agent?
Don't sit around and wait for the phone to ring. Go do something to make it happen.
I think that that's probably the biggest part about getting into real estate is that people are concerned about what to do with contracts, how to do like things involved with real estate in general, and not actual lead and business generation.
Yeah, you can't learn how to do a contract if you don't have a contract to write on something.
Yeah, well, yes. Business
I mean, you can fill out a blank contract, but with if there's no skin in the game, it's kind of
yeah. If you can't generate business, there's no point in learning anything else.
Yep.
And people get overly concerned about. Cheers to number one. About what to do when certain situations happen, but those situations can't happen without actual business generation.
There's also a great FAR bar as is contract class that they do at the board. It's like an hour long, and then the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Some of it is learn as you go.
A lot of it is learn as you go. The contract isn't, but people don't realize about being a real estate agent. This is a good tip for a new agent. You don't just have to know how to show houses and write offers. No. It is like there's so many things that go. You have to know like title stuff, inspection stuff, construction stuff,
marketing
stuff. You got to know,
back end
legal
office
things.
Work.
Yeah.
I mean, you're becoming you're an independent contractor, and you are a complete business operation for yourself to generate business. So it's start to finish. And first thing, most important, is learning how to generate business.
Yep. Making that phone ring.
And if you can't do that, then you're never going to get anywhere.
When I was new, obviously I post on Facebook a lot. Always be sharing properties or things I'm doing, blah blah blah. Everything was real estate related. Just Facebook was all just real estate related. And then we would take plastic yard signs, like blank ones, and I would just write like 32 Melbourne 219 back when that existed. And I would just stick them around with my phone number and staple a business card or a logo of the brokerage before Denovo existed on the sign. And people would call and get a ton of phone calls. I'd be like, yeah, there's this one over here. Let's go see it. I'd meet them over there. I'd do the whole thing. I'd get into showing them more houses. And it worked. It generated business. It wasn't good business necessarily.
Did you ever put for sale signs in other people's yards?
No. Pretty sure you can't do that.
There's a trick. Just put for sale signs around the neighborhood, and at least those people will call.
Yeah, the people whose yard you put
in your house.
Have
you ever had a yard sign installed at the wrong house?
No, but one time I had somebody call me about a yard sign installed at the wrong house, and it was supposed to be 1380, and they installed it at 1308. It was transposed to the numbers, and my client at the time was living in the neighborhood and was like, "This is perfect. I want this house." They call me. I look it up. I'm like, "It's not listed. It's not there." And I was like, "Oh, Tammy, this is a big fine. It's $1,000 or whatever if you have a sign and no thing or whatever." And I was like, "Oh shoot! Where's this?"
I've had one installed in the wrong house.
Who was responsible for that?
Well, actually, so there was a circumstance where it wasn't the office's fault. It was the sign guy put in the wrong But it had the wrong house. The
Mhm.
neighbor, luckily, was very nice. Then one time, there was maybe an accidental order of the wrong address. Well, it's the correct address. It was the wrong city, which is easily confusable, right? Confusable? Is that a word?
Confusable. It is now.
Confusable.
Listen up, new agents.
So what's the next thing on the list?
To make up
I
words.
think I'll go next. So real estate is very unstructured, and when you get in at the beginning, it's always like, what do I do? You know what I mean? I think that's kind of a big thing. So you have to have the more you can have a game plan for what you're going to do day to day at the beginning, because you got no clients right now.
Yeah. I think even successful agents who have been in it for a long time struggle with, is time management is so friggin' important. And when I talk to an agent who is like, oh, I'm about to hire an assistant or I need more help with this, like, if you just buckled down a little bit, wrote everything down, made a schedule, you wouldn't need to spend. A lot of agents aren't profitable because they spend too much money on things like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things you can do. You got to have yourself in your own, the way you're operating at a very high level of efficiency before that makes sense. Because otherwise you're wasting money. And I think doing, obviously people talk about time blocking. That's big in real estate. Yeah,
that book you gave me is great about managing your time.
And I think, at the beginning, well, pretty much for your entire career, if you have a block, and I always suggest the morning, because it's always before things get out of control, or other people lead you in different directions throughout the day, reactionary stuff. If you can put your proactive lead gen first thing in the morning. Yeah. So if you sit down, so if you're brand new, you got no past clients, you got your sphere, and then you got, going and doing open houses, you got direct, reaching out to people and stuff like that. So
however you can get somebody's information.
However you can get some type of lead at the beginning. And that's the most important part about getting started.
Yeah. Also, organizing communication, following up with people. If you have somebody that you need to follow up with, if you don't have a CRM, get a CRM. But if you don't have a CRM,
if you could get a CRM at the beginning, because you can get
there's some really cheap ones, like $175.
There's even free ones out there that are probably when you're brand new, is having a CRM. Because I didn't. Yeah.
Reminders are just critical. Google Calendar's great for it too. If you that's free.
How long did you go without a CRM in real estate?
How long was I in the business before I got here? 4 or 5 years.
And I did the same thing. It was probably several years.
I did 27 transactions in 1 year without a CRM. I don't know how I managed to
and a lot of people
ruin anything. I probably could have done 35 or 40 that year if I had a CRM and not lost touch with anybody.
Yes.
That's what's important about a CRM.
Also stands for Customer Relationship Management, I believe is the technical term, or technical.
Yeah, something like that.
Words of the, but it's a system where you're putting all your, because we're talking to new people that may or may not know what that is. But if you can start a CRM at the very beginning, that's huge, because you're organized off the bat. Yeah. And a lot of people go their entire career, even people that have done a lot of business, go their entire careers without one.
I don't know how.
However, you're always going to be leaving something on the table, because there's no, having your CRM being your contacts list on your phone, it's not going to work. It can't work long term. Nope. So I think we now cover business generation as being the most important thing to focus on.
Organizing that business that you've generated.
Organizing that business and scheduling that time into your day is the next thing. And then I think
implementing those
right after that, I think, is going to be picking your actual lead pillars of where that business is going to come as, and then now you have where you should go work on next. Yeah. So
find out who you are in the space. There's a lot of real estate agents. There's 3 of us in this room, right? So there's 3. There's somebody here that you can't see.
There's a ghost.
Can't tell you who it is.
There's a ghost on the other side of that camera.
But there's a lot of us, and you have to find a way to stand out, especially when you're dealing with people who are interviewing multiple agents.
Yes.
It's important to be personable, polite, well kept, that kind of thing.
Getting your niche. So, creating a niche at the beginning is important because you know, if you're broad, and I talk about this in the office all the time, obviously. If you're broad and you're like, anyone that wants to buy or sell or home, you know, come work with me. But if you develop an act is too broad, because with the 6,000 or however many agents we have, you know, that's the same thing as the other 6,000 people in the business. But if you can develop a specific niche on who or what and what those people do, now you can actually start to come up with ways to market to those people. So when I talk about having a lead pillars, you know, there's 100 different lead sources. You know, there's online stuff, there's social media, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's email, there's, you know, Zillow, there's Realtor.com, there's all these online
there's Twitter.
portals.
Don't forget about Twitter.
There's Twitter.
So owning a business, which is what this is very emotional, and I think that it's a little crazy, right? You remember being new in the business and getting upset about things and getting overly excited about things. Manage your own expectations along with your clients, but don't get bogged down with who's doing better than you. You're going to make friends in this business that are going to be doing better than you or doing worse than you or, you know, not doing as well. Don't get bogged down in that. Don't be like, oh, I want to sell that $1 million house that, you know, so-and-so knows that I know is selling. It's like, that's fine. They're doing that. Go occupy your time generating business. Don't get bogged down in what everybody else is doing. It's really important to focus on yourself. You are your biggest competition. Do that. I always tried to not compare myself with what other people are doing. I just want to do better than I did last year and keep doing better than that. Set a goal, write it down, and reach for it.
Which is a very good point, because I think especially at the beginning, you're going to pay attention to what other people are doing in the business. But what that, for, if nothing less, for ideas on what I should be doing. But that also can turn into a, like, oh, I'm looking at all these, and you can, you know, when you've been in real estate long enough, now all of your social media, you have, you know, I got 500 plus real estate agents on my feed every day, you know.
Yeah.
And if you get too bogged in, like, man, everybody's doing so good.
Like those 20-year-old girls on TikTok that do little dances in $3 million mansions in Miami. If you can do that, go do that. But guarantee they're not, you know, guarantee their parents are in the business.
But yeah, and getting too involved and, you know, worrying about that and being, you know, like, it's like getting discouraged by that. I think that happens to a lot of people. Yeah. You know, and they're wanting to look at other people, especially at the beginning.
Yeah. It's also really easy to seem like you're doing really well on the internet.
Yes,
and that's the same with anything in life in general. But
and everybody's,
just like there's an
app,
app,
is guilty of that. Like,
oh yeah, of course.
You know, like if I post, I got something good going on, like, and I make a post about it. I didn't tell you that, you know, earlier that morning shit hit the fan and I almost cried, or I did cry, you know, but like, I don't put, you know, you don't put that on the internet.
Absolutely.
Maybe I will. My next post, I'm going to be crying in it.
Yeah. If there's an app with filters that can make you look skinnier or buffer or taller. There's also ways to
There's a filter on this video right now. Yeah,
it's only on that side. This is what it really looks like. There's a million ways to make yourself look more successful than you really are. So
so you
don't worry about what other people
get wrapped
doing.
up in that. You got to do your own thing, and
be happy for those people that they're doing well.
You're competing
and
with
focus
yourself
on you doing well
only.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and then I think on that too, especially in the market the way it is right now, getting into real estate this is a very difficult market to be in. With, you know, you're a new agent, you're going to be working with a lot of buyers.
Yep.
And there's such an incredible amount of competition with houses that I'm a brand new agent, and it's very easy to get discouraged from. I just submitted 5 offers in a row for this buyer, and you're new, you don't have the confidence in, like, you know, like, it's tough right now. You're going to lose multiple offer situations.
Year 7 in this business, it's still exactly the same.
Yeah. But once you've done it for long enough, then you know, like I have a client, you know, my last client that I was out showing properties, VA buyer in Melbourne at 350 or whatever. It's like, hey, this is a very competitive market. You're going to lose offers. Like, we're going to lose offers. I'll try to give you, help as to why and what you're losing to, but you're going to lose. And as a new agent, if you're not going to have the confidence of like telling your buyer for the first time that they lost a house is like,
it's still hard. It still
it's
sucks.
like hard, but you have to be very resilient to stay in the business. And I think that's honestly like resiliency is like one of the biggest parts of being.
Well, most agents are in and out of the business within a year. So I actually had an offer for a client the other day. I was so confident. in this offer. We went like 5% over, escalating to over 10, probably like almost 15% over, and still didn't get it. And I was so confident that when they called me, I hadn't opened the response email from the agent yet. And I was like, all right, I haven't opened it yet. Like, now that you're on the phone, let's do this. Like, I'm going to open it and read it to you. And I opened it and they didn't get it. And I was like, I don't know. I don't even know how this happened. I mean, we made a ridiculous offer.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's what the market is. So they didn't get discouraged. They were bummed because they really wanted it because their whole family lived in the neighborhood. And it was, still feel pretty bad about it.
And
but
you have to have that.
You just bounce back and keep going, and there's going to be another house, and make friends with agents and touch base with them and be like, hey, what do you got coming? What can we work out?
That's a powerful way. Important part, especially in the market right now, is make good relationships with other agents.
Not in the way the market is. Just make good relationships with agents.
But yes,
we all have to work together.
Make good relationships always. Like know that's an important piece that gets overlooked because any market,
we're all friends.
You're going to be working with that person again at some point.
Before we work together, we put a deal together.
That's why you work here. Actually, we did a deal together.
That, and we're both kind of in the same demographic,
and we both enjoy tears over beers. But resiliency is huge in real estate. If you get discouraged easily, you won't make it in real estate.
Another good thing to look for as a new agent, and it's not exactly easy, especially now when everybody's so freaking busy. Find a mentor. Find somebody who can really help you outside of like, this is how you do a contract. This is like, how you deal with something falling apart or a bad appraisal. Find somebody who can take you and spend time teaching you what it is to be an agent, kind of like what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, like actually teach you the business generation portion, because
the day-to-day. I rode around in the car with my mentor every single day for a year, and it helped me tremendously to figure out what I need to be doing. And him and I are different in how we run our business, but not that different, but figure out what you like, what you don't like, what makes you comfortable, and go from there. But to get that basis, that foundation, was incredibly important to like how I got started.
It'll fast track your path to success for sure.
Who helped you when you started?
Uncle Nicky, baby.
Uncle Nicky,
Shout out to Uncle Nicky.
It's good to have family in the business. Teach you a little something, a little more generous than most. I happened to just meet somebody who was very helpful and generous with their time. Yeah,
if you can, and on that, it is very difficult to find someone because the dynamic real estate in general, people are very busy. People are it's successful agents that are doing well are often going through like some overwhelming busyness and things, and like for them to take on someone to teach or help out it's not easy to find that person. So you need to know that as an expectation. Don't you're not gonna call hey, call a high producer and say, hey, can I be your protege? Because there is so many agents getting in and out of the business over time.
There's probably somebody at your brokerage.
So you need to be very respectful in trying to find someone, and don't be discouraged if someone says, no thanks, bro. Like, good luck, because you're gonna get that. And
and a lot of us could use from time to time a little extra help, and it's good to have that. And in my opinion, it's good to take somebody, even if it's at a little bit of a distance, to help them and advise them and give them the info that you can in the event that you need somebody to do something when you can't. I double booked myself the other day, and one of my friends who I've been helping here and there when he asks questions and when, whatever I could do. He's an old friend from, we've been good friends a long time. I was like, hey, I double booked myself. This property is going to be off the market by the end of the day. Can you show it for me? And if you, show it for me, if you get it, I'll cut you off a piece.
Yeah.
And, give them a referral. Yeah, we did it once last year.
And that's a good point of, if you're looking for a mentor, you need to be able to offer some value to that person, because otherwise you are just a taker. Like, if you're not willing to, you're brand new, if you're not willing to work for free or do some things that to get learning from someone good, you need to be able to offer that person something, because again, like whoever, any, agent at a high level is going to have been asked that multiple times in the past. And if it's just like someone just like, you're coming at someone like wanting all their secrets, like, you need to be able to offer something of value to that person and do it respectfully.
Yes.
That's a lot of good tips for new people.
Yeah.
You guys better get out there and go sell some houses.
Oh, I got another tip. Never stop, never stopping.
Never stop, never stopping.
This is like a stupid fucking movie.
I think that's a good ending line.
Yeah. Never stop, never stopping.
Stop, never stopping. Cheers to that. All right, we'll see. What are 15, 4? I don't know. We lost track.
Just stop doing that part, because I don't know if we're ever going to remember. If you notice, a lot of shows this season is 13 episodes.
Thanks for watching Season 2, Episode 1.
Season 2.
Episode.
Season 2. Remember, write it down.
I just cheers my forehead.
Now go!